Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Miller's Girl, directed by Jade Hallie Bartlett and starring Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman. Now, when it comes to romantic thrillers, many of them can be elevated based on the chemistry of the characters and based on the performances of the actors. But when it comes to this specific storyline, not only does it feel rather rather unfortunate that this is coming out in theaters at all, but it feels like it's in very bad taste given certain things that have occurred in Hollywood that I'm sure many people have known. Well, let's get to the story, shall we? So it's about a teacher named Jonathan Miller, played by Martin Freeman, who is running his creative writing course, where a brilliant student named Cairo Sweet, played by Jenna Ortega, is currently his top student. On one specific day, when he sees her brilliant writing and sees her promising future, Mr. Miller decides to give Miss Sweet a writing assignment, a creative writing assignment that allows her to take a style from any author that she loves and to turn it into a poem that she appreciates. And considering that she is a fan of his book that's and also the only student who seems interested in said collection of short stories, he naturally feels some kind of connection to her. But when Cairo Sweet returns with essentially what's porno for him to read, he naturally sees her coming on to him. So, considering that he's a teacher and she's a student, and he's already has a wife, he naturally decides to reject her advances, which causes her to essentially try to get him fired from his job. Yeah, so that is the storyline of this movie, and it's about as sickening as you'd think it would be. Not that the movie tries to sexualize Jenna Ortega when it comes down to it, but it really does feel like a lot of this movie is just poorly thought out and generally not well written in the slightest. While it does have some occasional comic relief from one of the other teachers, and Martin Freeman and Jenna Ortega are clearly putting in their all with their performances, it's just uncomfortable to sit through. And I know you're thinking that perhaps that was the intent for this kind of a romantic thriller. Well, it's uncomfortable in a way that's not really in the sense that you have any lingering doubts or lingering suspicions of these characters, but more in the sense of how could anyone think that this is a good idea to write this at a time like this kind of uncomfortable. It definitely feels like the people who made this just didn't know what to say about this kind of thorny issue, and it felt like it was really only done to make a provocative trailer for it. Especially considering that the actual resolution of the story doesn't really happen. It just sort of stops at a specific point. While that is, I am grateful for that, considering that the film only lasts a little over an hour and a half. It squeezes every single second of that hour and a half that it can possibly get out of the material. Almost like they had to stretch various scenes out to get the movie up to feature length. So yeah, definitely not a big fan of this one. I really think that the director should go on to different stuff and should just leave this off of uh, any resumes of hers. This was not very fun to sit through. I give it a 3 out of 10. See you next time.